Level up, level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
What's going on, guys? Family from level1gamer.com, man. Congratulations. You guys leveled up to 178. This is the Double XP podcast. I'm super excited about today. We are missing a man with the clamps, but no worries. We got two amazing guests rocking out with us today. One you may not recognize because he was on Seinfeld, but today he looks a little bit different. The other one, that's not a hat. That's real eyeballs on his head. We're gonna have a good time, man. Lots of stuff to talk about. I know we're at a different time tonight, but it's all good. We're gonna rock with it and have some fun with it. Don't forget, at the end of the show, I'd like to give suggestions on a movie, TV show, and/or anime. Make sure you guys get those in so we can read those out at the end of the show. I'm gonna get started with the introductions. I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna go a little different tonight. I'm gonna start with my sister from another Mister. My right hand was man. D4 Hugger, what's going on, sis?
Not much, not much. How's everybody doing out there tonight? It is our Halloween episode because next time is November, so here we are. You can try to guess what we are. You won't guess mine, but you can try to guess. And I'm excited to have both guests here. One is family. He can go to the fridge, get his own drink, and let's just talk about some GMA.
Next up, DALLAZ.
Guy, I mean, man.
This man almost forgot who he was.
I had to switch it up on you a little bit. I had to cause a little bit of variation in this thing. You know what I mean? Also, I don't know. I missed a couple. I've been, dealing with life, how life goes. And so every time I feel like it's been a long time, but this time especially, so I'm definitely ready.
Next up, if your DMs are full and your emails are also at capacity, that's because of communication director level1gamer.com. Baron J67 is trying to get a hold of you, baby. Pick up the phone. What's going on, Chief?
Folks need to answer their DMs. Don't ignore me. I will find you. Happy Halloween.
That wasn't menacing at all.
Listen, next up, this man was actually the stunt double for Don Cheadle in Avengers. When Don Cheadle fell and broke his legs, that was Neo Game Spark. What's going on, brother?
That's very funny.
Are y'all finished or are y'all done?
Hold on.
Okay. I'm gonna save something a little bit later for you, Fame. But as always, it is a pleasure to be back on the show right now with such lovely guests and individual. Well, actually, you know what? 5 out of 6 ain't bad. That's a pretty nice round number here. But yeah, it's great to be on the show. Thank y'all for having me, and it's really dope to be with our other guest right here. He will introduce himself, but. Man, I don't know if I was ready for some dad jokes tonight, so I'm gonna hand it on to somebody else, to the next person on this list. Ooh.
Last but not least, believe it or not, is a returning guest. I had this guest on way back when I was with Tick Games Network and we did this show, and we were still in our infancy at Tick. Now we're at the infancy at level 1, but I'm so happy for him to return today. Shinobi 602 Norman.
Yes.
What is going on, brother?
Hey guys, thanks for having me again. Unfortunately, I do not have a slick intro like the rest of you, so I feel really bad. It's just plain old me after 4 or 5 years. So happy to be back. Thanks again so much for having me on again. It's a pleasure.
Man, I appreciate you coming through, man. I can only imagine how busy your DMs are and your emails are. You're hard working, man. I know it's been a while. The last time we talked, I believe you were just starting at Wushu Studios, if I'm not mistaken. What have you been up to lately, man?
Yeah. I'm still there, though at a much smaller capacity. So I've now joined a indie publishing label called Untold Tales. So I joined there as a brand manager. So we're like a new up and coming publisher. They're formed by ex Techland folks.
Okay.
They worked on games like Dying Light and The Witcher and stuff. So they kind of formed their own thing over there in Poland, and they just kind of wanted to break away from AAA a little bit and focus on indies with cool stories and things like that. It's a very story driven company, so that attracted me a lot. So so that's where I'm at right now. I'm still at Wushu, but here and there. So just working in games, doing my thing.
Hey, man, I tell people all the time, you are one of my favorite follows because your timeline is just filled. I mean, it's games, screenshots. Like there's no crap, there's no BS. Like if you really want to see games and hear about games, see someone that's super excited for games, like you're definitely one of the top followers, man. So how does it feel? Because I know at one point, you had a different reputation as a quote on. Okay, can you see my quotations? Like the insider thing, and then to be really in the game industry. How's that transition been for you?
Actually, to be honest, you would think something like that would be awkward, but like, how do you transition, from that to that. But I don't know. I kind of just moved away from that a little bit. I guess maybe that's I mean, I don't like to act like I'm famous or anything. Like I hate doing that, but I guess that's kind of how I sort of built a little bit of following, or people started to know me as as this kind of person, insider or whatever. But I've always wanted to work in games. That's my passion in life, and it's like every job I've held up until I got my first job in games was like it was just like filler. When am I gonna finally get in games? It's just. So I just kind of trudged through life and, meandered through meaningless jobs and stuff till I finally got where I'm at. And it's just where I've always wanted to be. So I kind of moved away from that. And I couldn't be happier, honestly, man. Like the transition was smooth, and working in games is one of the most rewarding things you could do. When you love what you do and you love seeing just the passion and creativity of people that you work with come together, and they just make entertainment like this. It's amazing. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's beautiful, man. I'm super happy for you that you're doing something that you love in the career that you always want to be in, man. That's
Absolutely.
super dope.
Absolutely.
We're gonna jump right into it. I do again. Time's a little different tonight, but we appreciate you guys rocking with us. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel, check the stream out. I know it's at a different time. Let people know we are live and going. We're gonna start out with Halo, okay? For the longest time, Halo had a bit of a fog around it. It was delayed. We know about the original campaign reveal with Craig, and everything else that people harped on with how it looked. The multiplayer happened, and people got really excited for Halo again. But everyone was wondering, where is the campaign? Where is the campaign? Why are we not seeing the campaign? Will the multiplayer and the campaign launch separately? Are they going to launch multiplayer first? But we finally got to look at the campaign. And from my eyes, my X's on my eyes, I would say from what I can see is about a 90% positive on my timeline from what I can see. But I do want to start with our guests, and Snowy, I want to start with you on what your thoughts were when you finally got to look at this new Halo campaign.
Oh, me? Sorry. Sorry, man. Yeah, I thought it looked fantastic. I'm a huge Halo fan. Like, Combat Evolved, still in my top 10 all-time greatest games personally. I've played every single one. That's including both Halo Wars and even the games that are on mobile. And yeah, I'm hyped as hell. I love how open the campaign looks. The art design on a lot of things, like Chief himself to the characters and the enemies and the environments. They all kind of give me like this mega just Combat Evolved vibe, a lot of it harkens back to that. I don't know, maybe it's my nostalgia talking, but that was definitely a conscious choice on their part, on 343's part. But so it has all of that, but also obviously it iterates on that old school design a lot. Like that upgrade screen, like I like upgrading my character. I don't know, maybe I'm just the lowest common denominator, but I like putting points into things. So seeing that on screen just ticked a nice box for me. I guess the only question mark left is really just it was focused on the campaign, but the only question mark left for me really is just like, how's the story going to play out? Halo's always been about Master Chief and Cortana for me. So I'm just really curious, like, to see how everything shakes out in the end, like what's gonna happen. I mean, basically, I want to go in like as blind as possible, but I'm really curious, like after Halo 5, like where they're gonna take this. So, and I hope to see a lot more of Arbiter. I miss that guy, so a lot more of him, please.
I'm right though. Neo, now and then, the campaign now and the campaign then, the campaign now, the improvements. Are you happy? Or is the excitement there for Halo going forward?
I mean, to be honest, when they announced the delay last year, I was very glad that they did that, because just seeing Halo showed off after so many years of not seeing it, and after the rocky reception of 4 and most especially 5, Halo Infinite needed to be a hit. And what I saw last summer, I mean, it looked like Halo. It seemed like it played like Halo, but visually it did not look up to par, which, I mean, graphics aren't everything. Everyone knows that. But when you are Xbox and you're looking for a megaton title and you have this legacy with Halo, it's a different level of expectations. You know, it's not like this is a random game coming from a different developer. This is Halo. This is what built the company. So when I looked at that, compared it to everything else that we were getting from third parties, and, you know, if we're talking about the whole console war thing, PlayStation by comparison, I was like, well, what's going on here? But they did delay it, which I'm like, okay, cool. Insert that Shigeru Miyamoto quote. Go right ahead. And while the multiplayer was looking really solid, we went through it with the flight test. It was looking good, but the campaign was like the last bastion. That was the last thing where I'm like, okay, if they can nail this campaign, then they've got me. And what I saw a couple days back, it wasn't necessarily like, I'm not jumping for joy, like, oh my God, yes, everything is just amazing, but it definitely gave me a little more confidence. I would have loved to see a full-on campaign demo to see exactly the style in which they're going for, because it's not going to be 100% classic Halo. It's going to be something more modernized compared to like what we're playing now. I'm interested to see with some of the newer aspects with the open world, how that's going to affect the flow of things. But just based off of from last year to now, definite graphical improvements, which is what I loved. Just seeing how the hook shot works in with the gameplay, that got me really excited, because, you know, one thing I've noticed about with Halo is a lot of people look at, and this isn't a slight to like try to defend the game or something, but when a lot of people look at Halo and they compare it to other genres, you know, the first thing they go for is the visuals. And while visuals are important, Halo is all about the gameplay. And if you're a true Halo veteran and you see what they were pulling off with that campaign overview, there's so much potential that I think a lot of people don't realize. And that's what excites me the most as a casual Halo fan. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what else they got up in store for us. Hopefully we get another demo before the game comes out, but all things considered right now, it's looking really solid.
You know, I think one of the, I guess not necessarily downfalls of Halo falls in is that because you have to be true to that Halo core. But then
Right.
you got some people are saying, hey, why isn't Halo changing? Where's the ooh and ah? We can't get a God of War style transition in Halo. I think that would have to be a totally separate game, a totally separate spinoff. So you got those people that are saying, hey, where is things look the same? It looks like the same as it did before. Well, for Halo, it's one of those games where it kind of has to still be Halo at its core. Because most of the hardcore Halo fans, when they add in Sprint, when you add in ADS and things of that nature, you're pissing off majority of your fan base because those Halo players are hardcore. But Baron, I know you were also very skeptical of the campaign even releasing this year. From what you've seen, are you convinced? Are you ready December 8th?
I feel like, you know, not saying that there's somebody here on this panel who's gonna bully me into playing Halo, but that
We don't know anybody like that.
Right? There's no bully. There's
Nobody.
But honestly, as somebody who hasn't really been into Halo since what was it, Reach? Like, I haven't, and even that, I just played the campaign and put it down. Like, I've never been multiplayer. That's never really been my thing. But when it comes to Halo, I feel like this being on Game Pass and the fact that I'm not gonna have to drop an extra dime into it is gonna give extra casual people like me, like, who knows, I may fall in love with it all over again. And looking at the improvements, yes, especially with the fact that we've had the flights, and I've said it on here before, they were getting ready to release this game around this time last year, like, and that's scary, like, to think. And I'm glad that they took all the time that they did, because who knows, it would have fell off by now. Maybe that 10-year plan would have collapsed. I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. So any progress is good progress. I'm still a little weird about the whole launching not complete, but it seems like they're going for an open universe thing. So, which is good. I mean, can it compete? Not compete. Can it live like Destiny does? Is it going to have a hardcore lull period, and then all of a sudden you're going to have that one seasonal update, and then it's going to skyrocket the game? Hopefully. I want it. I want Halo to win. Like, the gaming world does better with Halo winning.
Baron, I have a question. Do you think
Yes.
Halo? It's modular, and by modular I mean it's not every game. It has a game. It's not a live world. Destiny live world. Do you think that with Ubisoft making that push to have Ghost Recon, Assassin's Creed become those kind of live service games, do you think Halo has a future in the world? Can it compete with those games?
I'm gonna be honest with you. If that's not the initial plans, I believe wholeheartedly that's where Halo is gonna lead to. I know a lot of people out like on the surface don't want that, but I really believe we're gonna be looking at seasonal events. We're gonna be looking at it's
And
just
the
gonna be a
campaign.
living and within the campaign as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really I see that happening. And then you got the RPG elements. Like I mean, you see I'm wearing a whole freaking Fallout thing here. Like it's stats, you know, like Shinobi said, putting stats in the section. That's a big thing for me. And then I'm glad that they made the adjustment with the grappling hook. Like, and I really hope you can stick that bad boy everywhere. Like, and I hope there's abilities to make it to where you can do heavy damage on enemies with it. Like I almost want to be able to break the game with that bad boy. And it
Leave
just
that to Johnny.
right, leave it to Johnny. God, man, that kid. But yes, I don't. I'm gonna play it because Game Pass. But if I didn't have Game Pass, I would wait a while.
That's
being
that's
honest.
that's what they mean by 10-year plan, right? I mean, like they
Mhm.
wanted to have that long tail, you know, that Destiny style, Assassin's Creed, you know, stay on people's TV screens as long as possible, you know, and they're gonna keep refreshing it with it. I can see them, you know, prolonging it, adding content, single player content, multiplayer. I mean, I don't care about battle royale, but who knows? Maybe like 2 years from now, I could perfectly see
Yeah.
them adding a battle royale mode, and that can be a whole huge thing that will light it up again for another year plus. You know, like or add little seasonal stories. You know, here's an expansion. You know, like continue chief story at so and so planet or something. You know, like I think that's their plan. That sounds like what they want to do with that 10-year plan. You know?
You know,
Ooh,
it's very interesting. Oh no, go ahead.
Do you think that they're like I know the Arbiter? That's what I remember from that was Halo 3? That was Halo 3, right? Arbiter?
He came in Halo 2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if that is the component that they're waiting for when it comes to the co-op? Like, what if that's the like bringing him back and that's like a big story loop?
Have it
Hopefully,
make narrative sense.
yes. Hopefully, with the delay of the co-op single player, they make it a narrative delay. Like
Yeah.
I really hope they take that. They have had the extra time. That would add some good fluff to it. Like, hey, not only we'll make it a story thing. Like all of a sudden you replay a moment and a ship drops or whatever. Like you know
what they
really
can
sell
do
it.
is
The thing that-
Destiny's. Oh, you go first.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. I was gonna, yeah.
So what Destiny is doing with the new DLC is launching is it's the Queen, something Queen. So it's like the Hive Queen, and oh, I dropped my accent. I'm sorry. Everything that has been played in the previous Lightbringer, all this stuff has been referenced. So it's gonna be a flashback yet a flash forward of what you happened. So people are speculating you're going to be playing things that you played in Hive Mind in Destiny 1, and then it's going to be brought forward. So they could do something like that, but release it in chunks, like even Final Fantasy 14 does, is Edgeworld. Shadowbringer is coming out.
Shadowbringers.
Yeah.
Oh, the latest expansion? And Walker.
And Walker, yes. It has to release in Europe or Asia next.
What were you going to say, Shinobi?
Yeah. Okay.
I was just saying, like Baron, like you brought up a good point. Like when you mentioned, like what kind of state was this going to launch in? You know, last year. Like I'm definitely curious. I'm curious myself as someone that works in games. Like I'm very interested. Like you know, that it's been pushed the whole year, and you know, look, game development is hard. It's hard as hell, man. Like especially when you got COVID rampaging the world, and you know it's hard enough already, and you got that thrown in the mix. But you know, it's just a curiosity part of me is like, you know, if it's a year later and we're still, you know, Forge launches 6 months post launch, you know, campaign co-op is 3 months later, and you know things like that. It's like, and the visuals, you know, and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I'm just curious, like what it looked like that, at this point last year, you know. Anyway, I don't think we'll ever find out. But
I want a documentary. I
Yeah.
will be honest with
Yeah.
you. I really do. It's a big enough company. The money's there.
Yeah.
They definitely had cameras and stuff rolling because this was the flagship title. I bet you if it would have launched, like let's say it didn't catch the flack it did and it launched, there would have been a documentary. They already had it ready. There's no way they didn't have all that stuff. I want to see it.
There's
Yeah.
no way No Clip didn't hit them up and was like, "Hey, can we come
Oh, yeah.
visit for
Yeah.
a bit?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there was so much. I mean, come on, they were on what was it, Butterfinger? There's still monsters out there you can go buy.
Yeah.
That has codes
Yep.
for a game that ain't even launched. Like,
2020, yeah.
yeah, this is crazy, and I want to see the doc. I know it exists. I
yeah.
know it exists.
Yeah.
But would they release that though?
Maybe in a few years, like
I
maybe
think-
it'll be.
I think if they were ever to release that, it would only come under if Halo Infinite ends up being a monumental success.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to release a documentary of a game that, like,
Yeah.
God forbid, Halo Infinite flops and they can't
Yeah, I
find a
don't
way to
want
make
that.
this work. They ain't going to release no documentary. We're going to hear some
343
employees
killed
come
Master
out.
Chief.
They'll do it like they did with God of War.
Yeah.
Like as
Yeah,
soon as
I
it
hope
becomes, as soon as it
Yeah.
pops, that's when all little behind the scenes footage is gonna start dropping. That's when, because it's good promo.
They
It's
had
good-
that
it's a
in the
good,
talk. They had that in the talk. They were sitting on that for like what, a good year, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
But
they have.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh
they
no,
have-
go ahead, Shinobi.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I was just saying, like they had, like the God of War documentary and the documentary for The Last of Us. Like they had those ready to go. They were just waiting for those, those scores to drop and those sales to come in. And once they saw those things were mega hits, they're like, all right, release the documentaries. If that never happened, they would be like, let's save these for another day. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
right.
think, same thing. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Dallas, being someone who was really big into Halo back in the day, and just here recently, over the last year or so, really getting into PC and Xboxes and Game Pass, have you seen enough to convince you? You get that feeling of the old Halo like you did back in the day?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, so from what I'm looking at, it feels like what they were trying to do in modernizing it, they didn't really like the modern formula also still allows for that sandbox thing that was always there, just at a smaller scale. So it feels like that's being expanded a little bit, and then they just kind of giving you toys to be able to play with within it. Like that grappler, it's like, what type of trolling I'm finna. It's all AI, and I'm still trolling. That's one of those things that, like, at some point I was doing to my cousin, and it wasn't just the AI, it was him. So I don't know. I'm convinced, because in the beginning I was saying, give me a reason to be excited about Halo again, and I feel like they putting their foot in it thus far, and it's absolutely something that I'm going to be playing day one. Whatever I have to do the next day is not getting done, because I have to stay up and I have to make sure that I kind of at least dip my toes in. I have to at least give it a try because it looks worth it.
Before we move on, I do want to ask, because you guys kind of brought up a point we talked about. We brought up the 10-year plan. Hug was talking about Destiny. But we got to remember that they made the multiplayer free to compete with the Fortnites of the world, to the Call of Duties of the world. Is there any point you might feel like they maybe just be getting overzealous with because, I mean, you got two, because these have to run separately, and then you're trying to compete with some of the biggest names in gaming. Any fear that they may be trying to do too much with this one franchise to compete with two separate game types?
They could.
I mean, yeah, that's the biggest fear out of everything, and I think the reason why folks are more critical about that is because everybody and their mama is trying to do this. They're trying to find, the next lightning in a bottle, and it's infuriating at times because all of these companies, none of them have the financial backing that Xbox does with Microsoft, and how we've seen this generation, how they fumbled the bag so many times. I think that's why people are really scared about the fact that, okay, Halo's coming back, and it's also coming back as free to play. Okay, how is this going to work out? And then there's also something else I'm curious. So obviously Game Pass is a big reason why a lot of people are going to be checking out Halo Infinite. Even some people who are on the fence about it, they're like, you know what, I'm subscribed to Game Pass, I'll check it out. But what about for the people who aren't subscribed to Game Pass? Because for a lot of folks out there, as weird as it sounds, they don't really care about the Halo story. They're all about that multiplayer.
Yep.
The game costing $60. Do you guys think that the campaign is going to justify that, considering the campaign is not launching with features? It's only going to be just that solo campaign. Do you guys think that's going to deter some people away from it, or like justify its existence? $60 for a campaign, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll be the bad guy here.
Oh, go ahead.
The Last of Us 2.
But remember, though, Last of Us.
Okay, so
without
the
that,
meat and
go ahead.
potatoes of a Last of Us game.
Yeah.
Is in it, regardless of how people felt about the multiplayer, the real meat and potatoes of The Last of Us is the narrative, right? It's the story. And The Last of Us Part 2, more so, because how was that going to continue? And everything surrounding it, it was sort of a must play, right? Now with Halo, if you are already invested in the story, it's already a must play for you. You probably want to spend that $60 anyway. And if it pays off and great. But I can understand your question as far as like, if you don't care and all you really care about is the multiplayer and it's already free to play, what's the real incentive? Whether or not I have any faith that it could be worth it. I mean, yeah, look how Guardians of the Galaxy is reviewing. It's possible. But it's one of those things that is going to have to be a wait and see thing. Somebody is going to wait until they hear from freaking Dreamcast guys, Skill Up and ACG, and until they hear from them.
Don Cheadle.
And Don Cheadle, of course.
Don Cheadle.
So what are you gonna say about it?
Oh yeah, what are you gonna say about it? Don Double.
Hey, listen. Now it's not the time.
Already.
Now is not the time. This is Dallas Man's reign, and we're gonna let him finish his thought.
Okay.
It's like Fame is already trying to incite stuff.
I mean, it really depends on what Neo tells us Don Cheadle is going to say about it.
There you go.
I love you, Dallas.
But I think at the end of the day, a lot of us just want we want a good game. And the thing with Halo, I think the last couple, and we got to move on, but the last couple of Halos, in my opinion, kind of flip-flop good campaign, bad to decent multiplayer to bad campaign, good multiplayer. Because 5, their story was bad to me because it wasn't what it was led up to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of, like, last thing I want to know is what happened to Locke. That poor guy, he was taken out back somewhere.
He ended up.
Look at him. Yo, you know what it was? Best comparison. Who here has played Mafia 2?
Yeah, but
Ending of Mafia 2. I'm not gonna get into spoilers because I know some people play it.
Damn.
Exactly. Y'all know.
I haven't thought of Mafia 2 in years.
The blade scene.
We
The
don't
blade
talk
scene.
No.
about it.
I'm serious though. Like, where is he? Where is this guy?
All I'm saying.
Nice long vacation. They said, "Hey, Frankie, you're not welcome here. Go
Let's
away."
not check.
Luca sleeps with the fishes.
Last I checked, if you really want to know where Locke is, I saw him, Daredevil, and Iron Fist going to this cavern.
Called Netflix cancellation.
Yeah, there you go.
The
And what-
enemy. The op.
Straight
Still,
up.
the
I'm
weirdest
on
thing
radar.
about
I'm
that
on the
is
radar.
they didn't have what's his name? I can't remember his name. He wasn't the voice.
Michael Coulter.
Yeah, he wasn't even the voice for his own character, which I thought was absolutely weird. But yeah, Microsoft definitely took him around back and gave him one to the back of the head because people were
That's
so
a weird choice,
upset
too,
about that
'cause
character.
That's an odd choice because this man got a golden voice.
Yo,
Like, he-
absolutely.
Well,
That's
don't
an
forget,
odd choice.
there's media out there that is not the voice of Batman, which I can't remember his name off the Michael.
Who?
He does the voice for
Um,
everything in Batman.
Oh,
No,
He
Kevin
did the
Conroy?
Conroy?
games.
Kevin
Kevin
Conroy.
Conroy. Yeah.
Kevin Conroy.
It's like there's stuff out
And
there
he is
without
the
him.
voice.
So he was even.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
ain't that good. Dang.
I imagine Mark Hamill not voicing Joker on anything.
I mean,
I
I feel
mean-
like we've had more better Jokers than we've had better Batman. Because, like, with the exception maybe one or two, everyone is just trying to either do something that's so far left of Kevin Conroy or they try to impersonate it. But with Jokers, we've had obviously Mark Hamill, we've had John DiMaggio, we've had Richard Epcar. So there's like more variety with Joker, I've noticed, than Batman. Everyone's just like,
Yes.
I give you that.
All
damn,
right.
man.
I
Just respect
think,
my boy Locke's name.
yeah, poor Locke, man. He's over. I don't think Microsoft or Xbox is okay with the backlash. Look, I'm over here like my nose is itching, and I'm over here like rubbing the mask, like with no access to my nose, but like I feel stupid.
Forever
Like,
itchy.
yeah, like I feel really stupid. But listen, we're gonna transition because one of the more surprising things that came out, and I do want to talk with Dallas about this because he is our music aficionado, is that there be a Wu-Tang themed game coming out of Xbox Global Publishing. Baron, correct me if I'm wrong. The name of the studio that's supposed to be developing this is
Lion.
Brass Lion Entertainment.
Line Entertainment.
Mhm.
So I do want to move over to Dallas.
Check
I
our
know,
DMs.
yeah. Check it out. I do want to move over to Dallas because Dallas, you did do a video on this topic. I do want to get your thoughts about this Wu-Tang themed game.
Oh man. Okay, so when I did the video, it was a really legit sounding rumor. And so when I looked into Brass Lion, as it turns out, they specialize in these types of stories, right? They do like the hood stories. They they lean into like telling the stories of marginalized people, right?
Mhm.
So the last thing they had, if I can remember correctly, was like an interactive, not interactive, it was like a narrative driven podcast. Something like Sandman on Audible, if y'all have heard that, which is
Yeah.
impeccable, right? Like something akin to that. And so narratively speaking, the storytelling is there, right? And then when I looked at who is the music supervisor and like the sound supervisor, it's Just Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
Just Blaze. Like, so clearly the music direction is there. So let's just say by some freak accident, some lapse in judgment that the RZA has nothing to do with it. I would still believe it's in good hands as far as that goes, right?
Good kid, man.
And then yeah, so
Yep.
and from what I hear is supposed to be outside of that, what I'm imagining is Jade Empire and Def Jam Fight for New York have a baby, right? And then that baby has a baby with, well, that baby grows up. Let's not be weird.
Well, I'm
And
about
has
to
a baby
say,
with-
Dallas, you're about to get us demonetized, bro. What
let's
you
let's
talking
not be
about?
weird. But then that baby grows up and has one with the spawn of Boondocks and Afro Samurai.
Hmm.
And
That's I don't even know. Wow,
yeah, because just okay, so
I can't even imagine that. Like,
I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all watch like Wu-Tang American Saga at all, right? Or if you really know about Wu-Tang like
I've seen
that.
a bit of it.
But okay, so that 90s, that late 80s, early 90s grimy street thing is there, right? Mixed with the kung fu movies of the era just before
Mm-hmm.
and during. Okay, so that's all in the music, and that's where I'm getting partially like the Boondocks thing from, and that's where I'm getting say Jade Empire and Fight for New York. Well, all of that being wrapped up in a tight little. I'm not saying it's gonna be like say cell shaded exactly, but the
That's
word
what I want.
is it's supposed to be the anime aesthetic.
Third person
So-
fantasy anime, yeah.
Yeah, open world, third person open world, anime hood aesthetic. If I tell y'all that there's never been, besides Black Myth Wukong, there's never been a more perfect game. Like for me personally, there's never been a more perfect game to release. I think now when we started hearing about Xbox really going in on making games, I expected there to be something that I was pretty interested in, and I'm probably gonna buy day one anyway, like Hellblade 2, right?
Mhm.
This for me is way above and beyond. Like, no, I didn't expect for there to be something that like that spoke to me in the way it spoke to me, like as a black man, as a musician, as a fan of just media in general. Yeah, it's a pocket that needed to be like somebody needed to be in that lane. And it's surprising me that it's Xbox, but if this is what's coming out of the gate, then it's no telling what's later on down the line.
And
Yeah.
oh no, go ahead, Neo.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask something real quick. Because I don't really have too much to say about this, but to me, what this really like, the second I heard this rumor was coming out, it was one of those things where it's just like, All right, the internet's at it again. I'm not sure if any of y'all remember, but there was one E3 in particular. I think it was right before Nintendo either launched the Wii U or they revealed the Wii U. There was this, every year there's a fake E3 list, and one of them said, like, yeah, Nintendo was working with Marshall Mathers on an Eminem video game exclusive to the Wii U. OG's gonna remember that. But then when I first saw this Wu-Tang game being developed, I was like, all right, same thing. But then it's like, no. Here's some of the sources, and Xbox is behind it. I'm like, wait, what? It's one of those things that really reminds me of when I was a kid, and one thing that mystified me the most about video games was just this. There's something for everybody. And every single crevice and pocket of our reality and things that we can enjoy could be made into a video game. Like, for example, Def Jam Fight for New York. You tell somebody the concept of that, they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. And then you see it realized, actualized, and the game was amazing. And I still got shit going on with Def Jam for saying, yeah, when we hit 1 million followers, we're gonna tease something amazing for Def Jam. Never got it, but
yeah, that was
they were foul. They were foul for that.
Absolutely, bro. I took my follow back with a quickness, man. Shoot, I ain't playing no games, bro. But this really excites me. More so, I'm excited to see that Xbox is apparently behind this and they're helping it out on some level, because that's very good. Because, like, what was the thing we went back to saying that Xbox, their leadership has not really been the strongest, and them just going out and experimenting and doing things like this is just it's such an interesting move in gaming. I'm excited to see what this eventually materializes into.
Yeah.
So, Nobi, do you think this is something to fuck with? Hey,
look at that.
So honestly, I'm not that familiar with Wu-Tang Clan. I know who they are, but I didn't think I would be until listening to Dallas talk about it, like, kind of envision how he thinks it would be. Like when he said Def Jam meets Jade Empire, I was like, I'd play the hell out of that. And it's fun. It's like Neo said, like, it's beautiful. Like when I was listening to Dallas just talk about how it just it hits that spark in him. Like this sounds like a game made just for him. It makes me happy to hear that, because I love seeing creators out there just doing their passion, and when they do their passion, it reaches an audience that previously was not being reached or was not being talked to. So like just hearing him talk about it made me feel really good. And it's funny because, like, at first I was thinking, I'm like, what kind of game is this gonna be? Like, I mean, like, are we fighting as members of the Wu-Tang Clan? Is it just like themed around their music or something, or their history? But and like, again, like, listen to what Dallas said, like, I can see it, and I can't see it with other groups. It's like I'm thinking here, I'm like, what if it was like an NSYNC game? Would that work? I was like,
that would be fire, bro. Oh my god.
I mean, we saw it happen with G Unit.
Oh yeah, 50 Cent Blood on Sand. That game was hit.
Yeah, that was actually,
bro. That was fun.
There's a major difference here that I see, though, right? There's a major difference here that I see, because even though they leaning into like the street aesthetic, the hip hop aesthetic, strong, the hood aesthetic, really, there's a difference between that and like a caricature of what you see a hood person as, right?
Yeah.
And even though, like, I'm not knocking it, because I mean, let's be real, Fight for New York was like an exaggerated version of the personas of all those rappers. But it's also like with it's like pro wrestling with a spin, so you expect the exaggerated persona. Whereas 50 Cent, Bulletproof, and like Blood on the Sand, it's by today's standards is questionable.
That's fair.
Of course.
Whether I liked them or hated them, that's a different story. But like, let's be real, by today's standards, it's questionable, and it's like it's the cookie cutter thing that you would expect from a game based off rappers. But with what I see with Wu-Tang and what I'm envisioning here with Wu-Tang, it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot different than that, and the feeling is going to be wholly unique in the same way that it was when that music released. So,
yeah.
It's not a Wu-Tang experience if they don't bring back that controller. That's all.
Can I get an ODB controller? Just give me a just give me an ODB controller. Now we have. Hey, Baron, I know you have reached out to Brass Line. We're still waiting on a hit us up, Brass Line. But Yeah,
man.
man, I definitely get your thoughts go back to because I know you weren't the first person besides I had Dallas first when I first seen this, and I hit you up like immediately after. Your thoughts and excitement of from what apparently is Xbox Global Publishing going out and being behind a title such as this one.
Well, the fact that Jade Empire is in the back pocket like that, does Microsoft run that IP?
No.
EA.
BioWare.
EA has it. BioWare. Okay. But knowing that existed within the Xbox ecosystem, I remember playing the heck out of Jade Empire. If at its lowest, cheapest scale, right? Like at its worst, if it was a reskin of Jade Empire, I would enjoy it. What I'm expecting and what I really hope out of all of this is I'm hoping for a collector's edition that comes with a vinyl exclusive soundtrack.
Oh, I'll be with that.
That's to be 100% with you. Bare minimum, that's what I'm gonna need from them. Now the game, if it's action, dude, Jade Empire mixed with Wu-Tang, like what? I don't need anything else. Like I really don't. It sells itself in my opinion because one, we know Wu-Tang is of the culture of both hip hop and of the kung fu, wushu. Like they are of that. It's not. It's apparent in there. I mean, you got the flying guillotine. You got like there's so much that's embedded within Wu-Tang, even before the gaming aspect. So it's not. I feel like it won't be a gimmick, and that's what I'm most happy about. It won't. At least they would have to work really hard to make it feel gimmicky because that's really it. That's really who they are.
Just imagine all of this and it ends up being Shaq Fu.
Man.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
Wouldn't it be
have
if you all-
Wait, which one? Which one?
The first one was fire.
The second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh,
that
God.
second one with that
Yeah.
Barack Obama expansion.
The what?
Yeah, that's the Barack Obama like DLC.
Yeah.
I gotta go look this up. Hold on.
Yeah, check that out. Because it's like Obama meets Black Dynamite.
Like for
Oh,
real.
Wait,
this is real.
wait. What is? Hold on.
That's
Yep.
a real
That's
thing.
not the biggest thing. on
Barack Fu: The Adventures of Dirty Barry. No,
earth. You lying?
Yes,
no, there's got to
Yes.
be something else. Dirty
No.
Barry.
that is real.
Oh my
I gotta look
God.
it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Dirty Barry is
no.
a fictionalized version of former United States President Barack Obama.
Dirty
Oh my God.
Barry. And he's got the Dirty Harry.
God.
Bruh.
This,
Bro,
this
he
really
says,
happened.
can you dig it? Oh my God.
This really happened. So please just don't be Shaq Fu.
Don't go full Shaq Fu. You never go full Shaq Fu. Like honestly though, that collector's edition needs to come with a vinyl of the soundtrack that they use for whatever and it better be all Wu-Tang and maybe some Griselda just because I'm a fan. But like it needs to be I need an exclusive soundtrack to drop with this.
Oh, yes.
Anything short of
At
that,
the very least, like re-release 36 Chambers. Like at the
that
very
would be
least.
dope. 36 Chambers would be a great soundtrack for this. Like I mean, they wouldn't even have to recreate anything, but that would be dope if they can get everybody back together. That would be a very clean project. So sound wise, them owning all the masters and owning all their rights, I'm looking forward to it. Sound wise, just give me action RPG. Let me like Shinobi said earlier, let me put some points and some let me boost some stats up. You know, I want my speed to go up, want my, my agility to go up. Like I want that.
Want that
never
dopamine.
actually purchased a collector's edition. But this is a must. This is one that I have. It's got to get the full content creator treatment. It's got to get an unboxing. It's got to get like the whole shebang. Review, playthrough, all of it. I don't care who else on level 1 does a review of this. I'm also doing one. We
You
pulling
pretty
out
much have,
codes.
you have to do a bare minimum a video review, Dallas. I wouldn't expect no one else to be able to put in their heart into it. It's one thing to do a review, another thing to do a review on the thing that you love. It hits way different.
Yep.
I'm finna go find myself a RZA, a Ghostface, a ODB, somebody's Funko, and it's going
They
down.
all exist.
Like
Listen.
it's really going down. This got to get the whole treatment.
We got one more thing left before we get y'all off into y'all nights, off into y'all beds. I do want to talk about the I got hit up earlier by Neo, and he was like, "Bro, this is the greatest state of play that's ever been known to man." And I was like, "Bro, I haven't seen it yet." And he was like, "Yeah, bro." He said they hit banger after banger. He was like Final Fantasy 16.
Y'all gonna let this man slander me live on the air? Okay, I see how
He
it
was
is.
like Final Fantasy 16.
Yo,
Deathloop DLC, Deathloop New Game Plus. Like he was like going all for it, and I didn't get a chance to watch it live.
I'm trying to be nice. It ain't my show. I'm trying to be nice.
But I do want to start with my sister Hugger, who was live streaming it earlier with Baron. Hugger, what were your thoughts about today's state of play, and did it live up to any sort of hype that Neo made it seem like it would be?
Well, I don't think that many things can reach up to Neo's standards because he's a god among us, but...
Oh, you see, you know what, Floor Hugger? What I... All right, you know what? Yeah, I'm not...
사랑해.
Go ahead. No.
But I gave it a solid 5 because aside from the new Star Ocean, which, I didn't really care, but they didn't waste our time. So they were in and out, that's what she said.
That is.
Damn. 25-minute session. That's all I'm talking about.
That's all it needs to be. You don't need to be much
That's all.
longer than
Hey,
that.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Podcast about to go left.
No, Alex isn't on. It's going to stay
Oh,
here.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Shinobi, did you get a chance to see the PlayStation State of Play today?
Yeah, I did. I went in with low expectations, not because not because of any reason other than it's kind of like beforehand when they say this thing, state of play is 20 minutes, right? Hey, it's 20 minutes, focus on third parties, and then they started, they mentioned that little devil inside is going to be there, so it kind of like made me think like, okay, that's probably one of the biggest things that's going to be there because they've put that out there. There was honestly not much that was for me, and I love PlayStation. Like I love all consoles. I love all games. It doesn't matter where you're from, but like I'm a huge PlayStation fan. Their games just speak to me. I love narrative games. So I guess the only thing really was I think Little Devil Inside looks amazing. It looks stunning. That art style. There's so many high quality indies just coming out every single year, and this one's been on my radar since we saw it last year in June during the that first PS5 show. I mean, as soon as I saw it, my eyes immediately they just went bulging. I'm like, what is this? Like, the art style is just beautiful. It looks fun. It looks quirky and like whimsical and stuff. It looks like the combat looks great. It just looks like a good time. So I'm all in. I just wish I thought we would have gotten a release date, but I don't know how far that thing is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one for sure. That's probably the biggest one out of the state of play for me.
So, Final Fantasy 16, huh, Neo? How did that work out for you?
Listen, man, it's not my show. Gotta be nice. It's not my show.
But wouldn't them have announced Final Fantasy and then we don't see it for another 3 years and then we get the Bayonetta treatment where it's actually a complete game instead of the Anthem or Mass Effect treatment?
Well, in the case of Final Fantasy 16, the first time they showed it off, we saw tangible gameplay, which I'm like, all right, that means this game coming out in the next 2 years, something like that. But obviously, you temper your expectations with the state of plays, the Nintendo Directs, just because
Inside Xbox,
bro. Listen, Inside Xbox, that thing needs to be 20 minutes. That thing be going on for like 4 hours at a time, bro. I remember I left for work, I started watching that thing, I came back, that thing was still going. I was like, what the?
Didn't they stop doing it? What's the last time we had an Inside Xbox? Seems like it's been a long time since we had one.
They took that out back too. That's gone. You can't see that again.
God.
No, now they got the 4-hour indie streams on Twitch they got going on. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted something. I just wanted something from the state of play, because that is one thing I do give Nintendo in their directs. They always give you something to get excited about, whether it's a shadow drop of a game like right now or this week, or a new game announcement, something you weren't expected. For better or for worse, Nintendo Directs, they do have a purpose and they serve it for the most part. But with these state of plays, with the exception of maybe like one, which was like the Final Fantasy VII remake integrate thing they did. that one was great. But other than that, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, all right, this is business as usual. You got your deals with your partners. You're gonna show off this stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed that we didn't see Final Fantasy 16 or whatever. But man, those 25 minutes. Floor
Didn't
hugger.
the-
25
didn't the-
minutes. We could have done something else.
They could have done, but they didn't waste our time. It could have been 40.
Listen, Jim Ryan could have sent me an email. That's all I'm saying.
He could have.
Didn't the producer say? I think I remember. I even put a tweet out about it. I forgot who it was. A producer or someone. He said that they're pretty much like wrapped up. They're just like they're finishing up like some side quests and like
for
remember that?
16?
Final Fantasy 16. Yeah.
Yeah. So they said,
Yeah.
last I heard, they are focused. They finished the bulk of the game. Now they're just finalizing side missions, recording the rest of the English dub. So it's looking, obviously, it's going to hit next year,
Yeah,
whether it's
definitely next year,
Q1,
yeah.
Q2. Either way, I'm very excited for it. But the fact that we didn't see it all this year,
Yeah.
I mean, year's not over. Year's not over. That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly.
Baron, didn't you say earlier that after you saw a little inside, you got up and your seat was moist, something like that? 'Cause you were so
No.
excited.
Whoa! Why you come all the way up to the mic and show your face and you say that? Hey, what's going on, bro?
I don't like
This
that.
man's he is definitely part of Sus Squad, full Sus Squad
I'm
today.
saying though, bro. Look at the way you
I
got
feel
a profile
dirty.
picture. You looking at the side like that?
Yeah, it's just
The M word.
Just a dirty man.
Yeah.
But look,
Need
Fame is
power.
the stage name.
Little Devil Inside was the whole reason I wanted to watch this state of play. I was hoping to see something else to really hey, seat soaked, but no. It's a little. I've been hyped for Little Devil Inside since last year. I've seen it, very similar to what Shinobi said. It's been anytime there's a Sony event, Hugger will tell you, all I do is state of Little Devil
Yeah.
Inside, Little Devil Inside, Little Devil Inside. And when I first seen it, I thought it was going to be a Evo Land style game where you were going to get a bunch of different gameplay styles within one game. Because of the camera, the way it would bounce in and out, the way it would go to a 2D, the way it would switch to full over the shoulder, then it would do a over the top. If you remember the first trailer they showed for the game, there was a bunch of different camera angles, which usually mean a bunch of different types of gameplay. I guess, like I said earlier during the show with Hugger, I guess a better example would be It Takes Two. That style of very it's a one type of game, but then you have a bunch of other game mechanics within that game. You're playing multiple games, and that's what I was expecting from Little Devil Inside. But to see them explain a little more about it still has me hype. I hope you get to fish as much as you want. Fishing matters. Fishing in games matters.
Fishing and hunting.
Oh yeah, there's got to be hunting. And then the inventory and all that. I hope the inventory slots are expandable.
Yep.
I hope there's weight management. I just want the works. I want it.
If you've played this game, you're gonna understand where I'm coming from. But I hope it's a where the water tastes like wine type of game.
I've heard you talk about that. I haven't played it.
Great
Wasn't it a
games.
free one?
It was
Was
free
it Epic
on
Store?
Epic, and it's you go across the states to pick up stories, and then you tell those stories, and then those stories get brought back to you, all to tell the best story to the devil at the end of the game. But there's some stories that will mess you up, and there's some stories that are this is wholesome. But it's kind of the same map traveling that we saw from Little Devil Inside, and then it zooms into a place that you're gonna do actions at. So maybe.
Oh, see, that's dope. Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
So good.
Dallas, man, last topic, you get the last word. State of play. Work your
Man.
time.
Okay. Okay. It felt as if they did it because they had to. You know what I mean? It felt like somebody threatened somebody's job.
Don't you
Somebody
think if they
threatened to
did
pull
it,
some
they
funding.
would have talked about the PC releases that are coming out soon? If they were
They should.
forced to?
They should have. They should have. That would have made a lot more sense. It would have made a lot more sense to tease something else on PC and just say, "Hey, XYZ is on its way." But I really didn't see too much. I was super. I mean, yay, another battle royale. It does look interesting, but yippee.
Life expectancy of those.
Man, and at the same time, mind you, I like the whole time I was watching that particular trailer, in the back of my head, I was like, damn, this is giving me, I know it don't look like it, but it's really giving me like Let It Die vibes, and they let it die. And then at the end of it, you saw like the subtitle to the game was Let It Die, and I'm like, oh, foreshadowing. So I don't know, man. Like it felt as if they did this at gunpoint, but I'm not really tripping. Like at this point, you are not going to top your last showcase.
Oh, no way.
Like until you have something to show, and until it's time to see some Wolverine footage, until it's time to see a little more in-depth story trailer for Spider-Man or something, you're not gonna top your last showcase. And so I definitely went into this with zero expectation because I knew that wasn't happening.
Like I felt bad for Neo because he stopped watching you to watch this
Okay,
thing.
all right. I thought you were already gonna say something else. Yeah, I was binging the final couple episodes of You earlier today, and I was like, oh snap, State of Play. Let's turn this off and let's watch State of Play. And I was like, man, man.
We all have to be disappointed at some time.
Yep, but if there is one good thing, and I do want to use this as an opportunity to pimp this game out because it is absolutely amazing and it's coming to other platforms. Death's Door, November 23rd,
Physical
PlayStation
release.
4, PlayStation 5, Switch, physical release. If y'all have not played this game yet, please do. It is one of my favorite games of the year. It is so good, man.
Oh, I gotta play that. I feel like I've seen snippets, bits and pieces here and there. Is it like a roguelike or is it
Zelda meets Dark Souls is the best way I could describe it.
Made by
It's
two
definitely
people.
so it's definitely Zelda in the sense that you have all of these particular weapons and items that you pick up and you can backtrack once you get like how it is like, oh, like I can't reach this point. Oh wait, I got a grappling hook. I can come back and get this later.
Yeah.
And it's like Dark Souls in the sense that you have a limited amount of health. It doesn't regen automatically. You have to play it a certain way. Basically, you got to get good. But when some people are saying it's ridiculously hard, it is no Dark Souls. Like if you just know how to dodge, you're good.
So is the story like linear, or is it like kind of like Zelda, where it's like this is what you have to do next, figure it out, like go find it, or
It's definitely linear. I mean, once you get, like I said, the other items where you can go backtrack and traverse and find different things, it opens up a bit, but it's definitely linear. You're going to go to this world, you're going to fight this boss, that's going to lead to the next portion, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, I'll definitely look
Yeah,
that
you
up.
think everything is sweet until you try to get killed by a fucking treehouse. Like that dollhouse was pissing me off. I was like, where did this game do this transition? It was almost like Kena. Kena out of nowhere just transitioned into Dark Souls, and I was like, now wait a damn minute.
Oh,
I keep hearing that, bro. I keep hearing that.
Last time I got my ass whooped by a house was Final Fantasy VII Remake. So,
Dude, yo, oh my god, that house, bro. Died like 5 times.
man,
But yeah, Kena, man, if you ever play Kena, just be prepared because it's not.
Yeah, Fame, you hit the. I literally wrote a tweet like word for word. It was like I said like playing Kena, it's like 1 minute, it's the cutest thing in the world. It's like, hey, here these little critters, oh, let's take some selfies, and then the next day next minute a boss comes like, all right, you're in Dark Souls world now.
Yeah.
That really is like Dark Souls, because you can come across the final boss of Dark Souls 3 if you just get too exploratory right in the beginning section.
I won't lie. There were some bosses. I was checking if anyone was looking. I'm like, I'm putting this thing down on easy.
When I was doing the review, I had to stream with Baron because there's no going for help when you're doing a review. It was just you and the game. There's no going for help. And I was like, Baron, do you see this bullshit? Like, this is not fair. It's not fair.
Oh wait, from what I'm hearing about Kena, because I haven't played it yet. It's on my list after I finish up Tales of Arise and Metroid, but. From what I was hearing, some folks are saying there is a level of difficulty spiking, but at the same time, there was something about the game itself and the controls and how you parry that kind of messed with the flow. Or that might have been just in like the first 2 weeks of the game before they patched it.
I struggled with the parry system for a lot of that game. It took me a really, really good while for me to really get good with it. I struggled with it. I could not really parry very well in the first, I don't know, couple hours of the game. It took me a while to really get used, and probably because I need to get good. But it took me a while
Yeah.
to get used to that parry system.
Would you
thing-
guys
the
say
thing
it's
is,
the
like-
system of the game or just it not being that well implemented?
For me at least, it was like I'm used to like I'm not like Fame, like I'm not a good parrier in general. Like I'm a dodger. Like I just dodge.
Straight up.
I can.
Yes, sir.
Trying to time things, I always mess it up. You know, 99% of the time. But like I think with Kina, it was a lot of the enemy attacks. Like a lot of them were just like out of nowhere. Like they don't have like a build up where you can tell like, oh, an attack is coming in the next second. You know, and you get that parry ready. It's just right away. It's like, and
It's
you know,
all
and
jabs.
then and the next hit just comes out of nowhere in a whole different direction. It's like it's really hard to parry, but it's good combat. I mean, I won't lie. Like it surprised me. I'm like, man, this combat is in depth. You know,
It's really good. It's a lot more than what it looks on the surface. My only downfall is that I don't have a PS5, so I had to play it on PS4. But they gave me when they did review, they gave me the Ultimate Edition. As soon as I get my PS5, that thing's getting a second run through, and so it can be.
Does it?
Go ahead.
Does it have a performance mode on PS? It doesn't, right? On PS4. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
dang.
Dude, on PS5 at 60, oh, it plays smooth as butter. Like combat, it feels so much better. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, it's
Hey,
like
you know what,
I remember
Fame? I might need to. Oh, never mind. We'll talk about that later.
All right.
it's like for what was it? Right before Spider-Man. You know what it was? When Spider-Man Miles Morales came out, that was the first game obviously the first game I played with my PS5. And then I remember I was like, you know what? I might as well go back and because I didn't finish up all the DLC in Spider-Man PS4. So like, yeah, let me go back and finish that. I tried booting that game up, that 30 frames per second. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
The only reason I haven't played Miles Morales yet is because I don't have a PS5. Horizon, you guys know I'm a big Horizon fanboy, right? When the next one come out, I won't be able to play it unless I have a PS5. I refuse to play. I got my Series X. I have my Series S. I need a PS5. I refuse to play anything new on this jet. I refuse.
Jet Station 4. Let's get it.
You've been trying to. Have you been trying to get one, Fame? Like you've been actively trying. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm typically like a half second behind. You have to be a millisecond to get these things. I saw a tweet from I think it was Cheap Ass Gamer.
Yeah.
The minute it was tweeted out for Amazon, I went on Amazon, boom, boom, gone.
Yep.
Dude.
Gone. Yep. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I refuse to feed the resellers. I refuse to feed the resellers. And then I also refuse to feed GameStop because when they do them, they don't sell them individually. You got to buy the system, an extra controller, a headset, 2 games you'll never play, and $1,000. No, thank you.
PlayStation has put in a new thing. You can put your email in, and instead of a queue system like first come first serve, they're going to email you when it's available in your area, and they're going to reserve one for you if you put your pre-order in.
Oh, really? I didn't know about this.
Wow. They probably getting ready to drop a special edition console. That's honestly
that's my next biggest fear. Cause I'm pissed about my Series.
I'm waiting.
Not a regular one, not the Halo edition. They're gonna put a Horizon Zero Dawn, a Horizon Forbidden West out, and I'm
But you know
be
what?
over here with this regular PS5.
If it's PlayStation's MO of just giving you a skin, go to Dutch and go have Wandering Dutch make you a custom console. He will.
True.
I ain't gonna lie, that God of War PS4 was dope.
It was, man. They had some great SKUs of the PS4.
Oh
man.
Yeah, that Final Fantasy 15 one was fire too.
Final Fantasy was good. They had a Persona one that was only in Japan, bro. I was so close to importing it. So close.
Never cost too good. Listen, at the end of the show, you guys know like to give suggestions for people to watch and or play for this week. I'm gonna start the rotation a little bit different this time. I'm gonna start with my sister D4 Hugger. What do you suggest for people to watch and or play for the rest of this week?
For movies, since it's spooky season, I'm going to suggest Daybreakers. If you like vampire movies and you like Ethan Hawke's, great movie. I said this last week, but ESO, their Festival of Witches, has started. It's running till the 2nd. Red Dead is starting tomorrow with their Halloween event. Destiny, theirs is going on till November 2nd. Final Fantasy Online is actually moved to November for the end when they release Edgewalker, so everybody can be on it. So it's going to be a Halloween Christmas event. And check your local GTA RP forums because most GTA RPs are doing some custom Halloween events. So that's what I got for you guys this week.
Aaron J67, what do you suggest for people to watch and or play for this week?
Go watch. Speaking of old dude from that show that Netflix destroyed, go watch Evil. Evil is easily some of the top tier TV out there right now. Good mix of fun, horror, more suspense, but it definitely has a place on TV, and I'm glad that I think it was Peacock who saved it. I forgot what TV streaming service. I forgot. I got so many of them. Somebody saved it, but go watch that. And games to play. Go play Marvel's Avengers. I talk a lot of crap about
Got
it.
him, coach.
I talk a lot.
Got
of
another
crap
one.
about it, and I've been playing.
You're
it.
welcome.
I'm almost done with the story. It is easily one of the best like Marvel stories out there on a game. Like,
You're welcome.
It's heartfelt. They really portray everybody very well. It's weird seeing the animations, the faces, because you're so used to the MCU. It's a little jarring, but once you get past that, like it's really good, really good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I've been on this Marvel's Avengers hype train since it came out. I tell people, try it for yourself.
Empty ass train.
Hey, how am I right? Whoa, never mind. That came out terribly wrong.
Yeah, I'm about to say, bro. Choose your words very.
He's like, I'm the conductor.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the. There you go. Dallas. What do you?
It's worse the more you think about it.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Dallas, what do you suggest for people to watch and or play for this week?
Man, I suggest that you go jam 36 chambers while playing Absolver, so you can get yourself, get yourself acclimated, get yourself ready, because it's going down. We don't know when it's going down, but it's going down. Also, go play Metroid Dread, because it's good. I don't really have a whole bunch of reasons, but if you ever been a fan of Metroid, even if like you only play one Metroid game, this is worth it. Like for a while, my favorite Metroid game was Fusion, because it felt a certain way. It felt so different, and it felt like anything could happen at any time, and that's what Dread feels like. Because like anything and everything does happen at any time, so it's absolutely worth the play. I was going to suggest Black Dynamite at first. I guess this is me suggesting it. Go watch Black Dynamite, both versions, but mostly the movie, because it's our generation's I'm gonna get you, sucker. I'm gonna get you, sucker. It's our generation's version of that. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you understand why you should be watching Black Dynamite. It's one of those if you know type situations. Now, since it is scary season, go watch all of the Rob Zombie movies, but especially Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, those right there. I think it's like 3 movies within that little series. Go watch those. Like have a marathon with your girl, with your partner, your mama, whoever you happen to be under the same roof with. Have a marathon with them, and when that is done, I don't really have a scary game suggestion like that, because my favorite scary game is PT, and that's kind of like out of everybody's hands. So play something close to PT. Visage, I think, is I want to say that's how you say it. I talk funny, but Visage is out on Game Pass right now, and that's pretty close to PT, and it's pretty freaking spooky. So do your thing.
You can't even spell Versace. Neo, what do you got for people? For a suggestion to watch and or play.
Alrighty. So as far as watching recommendations, I want to give a big shout out to, it's actually one of the panel's favorite movies right here, Hotel Rwanda, starring Don Cheadle. Really good movie, very heavy movie. Legends be told. There go Fame, go, he gone. I told you I'd get you before the end, bro.
Okay.
Okay. I told you, man. I'm waiting in the wings. Waiting in the wings, bro. Waiting in the wings.
Okay.
Nah, but in all seriousness, as far as recommendations go, and on every podcast that I be on, I have one recommendation and one recommendation only. Everybody and their mama should play Near Automata. That's it.
And Replicant, because it's pretty fire too.
Yeah.
All right, the Great Shinobi. What do you suggest for people to watch and or play?
Watch. I don't know if this came out last week. I forgot when, but Dune.
Yeah, there we go. I knew he was gonna say it. Let's get it.
Dude, how did you know?
Oh my god,
Dude,
I was so
so-
excited this Kirby plush fell.
I'm not I've never been familiar with the source material. Like I never read any of the books. I never watched the old movie, or I think there was a show maybe like back in the 80s or 70s or something. Like I never.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
the movie in the 80s and the miniseries in I think the early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, like I'm not familiar with it at all, but I love sci-fi. Like I'm a massive nerd. Like Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, Star Wars, like The Expanse. I love Mass Effect.
Speak on it, Shinobi.
Absolutely, man. Like dude, Earth is boring, man. I want to live in space. Like
Exactly.
come on, like that's all. Like sci-fi is my thing, you know. So anything that can take me to another world off this planet,
Mhm.
I'm there. And Dune was stunning. Like, I mean, the cinematography, every scene was just oozing like atmosphere and just perfection, man. Like the acting was fantastic, the action was great. The world is just super unique because it's like it's far in the future. It takes place in like the year 10,000 something, you know, in the future, but like there's still kind of like like animalistic looking machinery and like just the way people live and stuff. Like they're still using, like they got energy shields, but they still have swords and stuff. You know, it's just, man, it worked me over really good. I was just sucked in the whole time. And they got like mile long worms that just live under the sand and stuff. It was beautiful. And if anyone is a fan of sci-fi, or just good movies in general, absolutely watch that. If you like Blade Runner 2049. Same director, like he killed it. He killed this. So, absolutely recommend that. As for playing, I've actually been recently playing through the Hitman games.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have played them, but I used to be a very big Hitman fan back in the day. I played all of them up until the 2016 one when they kind of like rebooted it and stuff. When IO rebooted back in 2016, it came out like in the episodes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not big on episodic stuff, so I was like, all right, maybe if this comes out like as a full game, I'll get around to it. And it kind of hurt me because I'm a huge Hitman fan. So finally, I got around to it now, and man, I forgot how good these games are. Like, they are fantastic. Like every level is just this super detailed playground of just like different ways of just killing people and getting to your objective, and just you can just disguising yourself and all kinds of mechanics. There's literally like hundreds of ways to get through levels and assassinate your target and get out and stuff like that. Like if you guys so I'm working my way up to Hitman 3. I want to get to that because I heard that's kind of like that's game of the year caliber this year, so that's what people have said, so I want to get to that. And like just I'm working my way through Hitman 2 now, and like fantastic games. Like if you love stealth, if you love Hitman at all, like absolutely recommend, highly recommend.
Dude, I was stuck. Not even that I was stuck on that one mission. The very famous mission where he's going for the party and everything.
Wow.
I kept getting very close to the end of it, but I was just like, let me restart it and do something different. Let me see how much it's gonna change it.
Yeah,
dude. And I had to put that game down because I was cycling through other games when I bought Hitman 1, 2, and 3 like all together in the package with everything. And I had to put it down for a while because I was just like, I spent a whole hour just doing this one mission this one way, and now I want to spend another hour doing it in a different way.
Yeah,
they're very addictive games, and that's why I'm really excited they're working on a James Bond title. That's gonna be something else.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's just man, like they I don't know, they just know how to make games. Like I was playing a mission just the other night. Like it was like the very first mission in Hitman 2. So it's like there's this beach house on the beach, and it's dark at night, and you just start at the beach. You get there by boat, and it's like you gotta encroach your way into this house. You find you look for clues and evidence, stuff like that. Then the owners come back in like a motorcade. You see them coming off in the distance, and it's all dark. And I mean, just picture it like there's a hitman in your house at night, and you don't know. You're just coming home, you open the door, you think everything's fine, and it's like you watch this assassin target. Like you gotta assassinate this person without raising alarms because there's guards everywhere, and it's like if you just take your time and watch this person, they just do all kinds of like normal stuff. Like you see him, you see him having a conversation. They say, "All right, I'm gonna head to bed. I'm gonna go head to the shower. I'm gonna, and you just follow him up to the bathroom, and you're sitting on the balcony, and you see this. They're like, her lover's like taking a shower, and she's going and brushing her teeth, and the shower's all full of steam. So it's like I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, this is my chance. I can take this. No one's, it's just it works. Like it's beautiful. I don't know what they're doing. So again,
it's a video game. Like
Yeah,
literally everything you think of, like maybe they've
can
done
I do
it.
this? Yeah, absolutely.
Love it, man. Woo!
Fire.
Yeah,
IO is they're making a James Bond game and they're making a fantasy game for Xbox. Like they are working overtime right now.
Dude.
I think it's time people put some respect on IO's name, man. They're a great developer.
absolutely.
Before I give my suggestion, I want to give a quick shout out to old man Logan who's in the chat. He is one of our newest writers at level1gaming.com. LV1Gamer.com. He's been doing some amazing work since he joined our writing team. So I want to give him a shout out. Shout out to NKDN 182, who's always a supporter. We see him in the chat on multiple different shows we do throughout the week. So shout out to you,
awesome.
man.
He's a great guy, man.
Great
He be
guy.
supporting, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I would definitely want to give him a shout out. My suggestion number one is you. I mean, my wife put me on, and I've been hooked. The second is My Name. I know Korean shows are getting a lot of love on Netflix now. And just trust me, go on Netflix, search My Name, and then thank me later because you're going to fall in love with that show. And then the last one, of course, I'm going to bring it back to oldie, but still goodie because season 2 is getting ready to come up. But Uncanny Counter, another Korean show on Netflix. Please go watch it. Fire.
So many have to watch, man.
Korean Netflix is so underrated right now. Like people have no idea the stuff they're missing on. And I'm so happy that Squid Game is sort of opening people up to that. Like it's opening up a lot of people's eyes to whole crap. Like and there is something good besides, the stuff that that I normally watch. So definitely check that out. As far as games go, nothing really exciting, but go give Black for Blood. give
Black for Blood. Blacks for Blood. What's going on? What kind of game you playing, bro?
Black for Blood a shot. No, it is not Left 4 Dead.
Version.
It's not Left 4 Dead as much as we want it to be. It doesn't give that same feeling, but it does feel a gap. Go and check it out.
Yeah.
Listen, Neo, Shinobi, man, I want to thank you guys, number one, for doing this show with us, number two, for doing this show late with us, and just for being awesome people, man. You two are some of my favorite follows. Neo, you one of the best people on this planet. Shinobi, a gamer at heart, man. I absolutely love everything you do on Twitter. Like, you literally make all the crap that I see on my timeline wash away when you're just posting your excitement about games, man. I really appreciate it.
Let's, let's take 30 seconds to give this man Shinobi his flowers, bro.
Yeah,
Where else are you gonna see an analyst of the video games industry, whether he wants to admit it or not,
Preach.
so to date on everything, posting nothing but the positivity in games and photo modes? And listen, I would not be surprised if this man has got like 70 hours in a game and 69.5 is spent in photo mode. Because that's what it comes down to, bro. And third, most importantly, this man be chefing it up on the grill. Like when I grow up and I become a dad, I aspire to be like Shinobi because the way he's handled all this, inspiration to us all.
Man, honestly, but you guys don't see the behind the scenes, man. Like I lost half my hair. I'm half awake, half the time. I get 4 hours of sleep. Like this guy, this guy's killing it. Then when I turn off the camera, I'm like,
oh no!
Hey, don't worry about the hairlines. You ever wonder why my avatar is a picture of me wearing a headband to hide my hairline? So I'm right there with you, brother. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're there together.
Late stage LeBron when he was 10, anyway.
Hey, listen, I've learned. Listen, Baron, set your ass up and you get fired. Listen, thank you guys once again for coming out rocking with us, man. We really appreciate it. For those who are still listening in, tomorrow is level 3 of Happy Hour. Come hang out with Hugger, Baron, and Miss Bubbles. Hopefully Miss Bubbles isn't, it'd be really happy hour for Miss Bubbles. It really be happy hour for Miss Bubbles. Like
Zoom meeting, let's go.
It's really happy hour for her.
Patron right here.
And then we got Take Two right after that. Friday is Peep Game. Saturday, I don't know if I should be announcing this. I should let them announce it, but I'll go ahead and say it. I believe that's the last.
Just do what I did today and said there's a special announcement.
There you go. Special announcement coming for Saturday. Sunday, Starcross Gamers. Monday, 15 Minutes of Fame, if I can get angry enough to do it. Tuesday, another announcement. And then next Wednesday, we'll be back for 179 of the XP podcast. Listen. For those of you who are watching, make sure you get your gaming news from LV1Gaming.com. Don't forget to go follow my brother Neil and my brother Shinobi. I promise you will not be disappointed. With all of that said, congratulations. You guys leveled up to 179. This was the WXP Podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
사랑해.